Over the year that I've been collecting Sonic figures, there's been one glaring omission from my display. Now I've gotten a lot of Mecha Sonics and Metal Sonics, but there's been one from the game Sonic & Knuckles that I've been missing. That's Mecha Sonic Mark II. He's the second last boss in the game. Many people have asked me to make this character for over a year, so I decided to finally make him. When it came to 3D modeling, I actually didn't have to do anything, because somebody already made this figure and put it on Cults 3D. This is the creator. However, when I was looking to credit the model, I noticed that the post has been removed from Cults 3D. So unfortunately you won't be able to make this custom using this 3D model, which is a shame because all the joints and pieces fit in perfectly together and end up being a really nice figure overall. Once I've made sure everything was perfectly fitting, I moved on to painting. In the original sprite, Mecha Sonic uses a dark blue and a metallic blue color scheme. However, in every single iteration afterwards, he's shown to use silver and dark blue. I assumed that the metallic blue was simply due to graphical limitations at the time and doesn't actually reflect how he was supposed to look. I also prefer the silver because it gives it a bit more of a contrast. You may notice that I'm actually using very thin layers of blue paint, and I'm just going to do multiple layers. Compared to my normal 2 to 3 layers, I'm doing about 6. This is to get a really smooth blue, because Mecha Sonic's made out of metal, and when you're trying to do metal paint, you really want to get it as smooth as possible because metal is very smooth and shiny. So when you do a gloss varnish over it, you don't want any texture, because then it just completely ruins the look. Now, I do think that this figure isn't worthy of a full video, so I decided to also make another character from Sonic & Knuckles. You can see here that this is my normal Super Sonic figure. He's a duplicate of the 2.5-inch classic Super Sonic, and I'm just going to spray him with this Rathbone white so I can start turning him into Hypersonic. As you can see, I sprayed the whole figure because I'm going to be completely repainting him. This is because I'm not the biggest fan of how Jakks Pacific paints the 2.5-inch figures. It's mainly just that they're too small, that they don't really get very accurate paint. So I decided to just go in with my paintbrush and do it for them. The shoes are pretty simple because they're just red paint, but then the skin tone, I'm actually going to make it more accurate to the game, where it's a bit more of a tan and a lot less yellowed. You can also see that I'm painting the rest of the body because I just don't like how they painted the skin tone. It just doesn't seem like classic Sonic, it seems more like modern classic Sonic from the Generations and Forces models. You can see here that I'm actually going to be using this technique that I use in all my customs, which is using a mechanical pencil to mark out the eyes and mouth, because it's way easier and you really don't want to mess these up, especially the eyes. So just having a nice reference point really helps in getting the accuracy. Now with Hypersonic done, I can move back to Mecha Sonic. Since the blue paint is dry, now I can add all the metallic details. These shin pads are pretty fun to paint because I could always just go in and add a few scratches of metal here and there to give it a bit of battle damage. Painting the head was definitely the most frustrating part because I had to get the paintbrush underneath the spikes, and I did that last just because it was so difficult. Now, unlike my battle damage Metal Sonic, I didn't give this figure any blackwash because I really didn't want to make it look too dirty, because he's meant to be brand new, just about to fight for the first time, so having him too damaged would make him look a bit weird. When painting the light that emits from his eye, I made sure to use some orange, mixed in with a bit of yellow to give it that gradient. And for the head I also did the same, however, I added a bit of dry brushing of yellow into the middle afterwards, just to give it a bit more of this glowing effect. Here's a look at the long-awaited Mecha Sonic Mark II action figure. The person who made this 3D model is really talented and I really like the way it turned out, and I'm really glad that I made Hypersonic to go with him to help complete my classic Sonic collection. One thing I did with Hypersonic is that I made his eyes brighter than his fur, just to give it a bit of contrast. And he looks great next to all the other classic Sonic variants. Here's a look at the Mecha Sonic next to Mecha Sonic Mark I and Silver Sonic, and here he is next to all of my mechanized Sonics. You may notice that he looks a bit small, but that's actually to scale with how he looks in the original game. The reason for this is because in the comic books, they scaled Mecha Sonic to modern Sonic, but in the classic games he scaled to classic Sonic, who is shorter. It's like how classic Eggman grew in size in Sonic Generations, to scale with modern Sonic. But in the end, these figures fill in the gaps in my collection perfectly, and I can finally call my classic collection complete for now. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, as it helps out a lot. And let me know what you want me to make next. Thanks for watching.